The Igbo natives of Africa said this reality is Ouroboros, a snake eating its own tail in perpetual self-consumption which eternally iterates. All we do in this world externally points back to us, observing consciously, permanently navigating transcendent fractal house of mirrors. Best to meditate and activate kundalini serpent spirit. Synchronize with the Ouroboros so you can't escape yourself. Take a trip through a portal and lose everything you held. Stripped of your false comfort, at last understand this realm and realize it's all one mind just looping back on itself. There's no use crying out for help. There's no one here but you. So do you love yourself? Or are you caught in self-abuse? Have you embodied divinity, sharing infinite wealth, or spent existence within a material shell? Let it all go. Energy is meant to flow. It's like holding your breath and forgetting you were rowing in a boat. It's but a dream. Did it confuse you? Couldn't you see that the stream in which we float is generated mentally? The decisions we make consciously create subconscious actions. There's no separating a shadow from light in which is casted. All is part of the story. You've already read this chapter. Back with a new focus you grasped previously uncaptured. Details you couldn't see fractured from your entirety. It's like I finally finished counting in a lifelong game of hide and seek. Ready or not, here I come to find you hiding in the dark, unconsciously submerged in what you persistently say you aren't. Imparting occult wisdom to my three eyes, down to my heart. I pierce through your cloak lies like quantum fiber optic darts. If you could only fathom the clarity through which I now see, you'd pull out a bleach paper and smoke it like a processed tree. You'd have to listen to a podcast or watch TV on YouTube to distract yourself from dealing with the pain you still hold on to. You let that shit control you without taking responsibility. The more I own up to my part, you project yours back onto me. Can't even look me in the eyes while placing blame critically, taking for granted all the love to fake your own supremacy. Who you say you are is a far cry from who you're being. I once acted the same way to avoid facing insecurity. Through myself I see transparency down to the farthest reaches. Within these very words one can interpret a wealth of teachings. So you can hear what you will, try and see what you can. You received what you sent and became who you intended to expand the extent of your conscious confinement and transcend stagnant cycles inhibiting your alignment. Synchronize with the Ouroboros so you can't escape yourself. Take a trip through a portal and lose everything you held. Stripped of your false comfort, at last understand this realm and realize it's all one mind just looping back on itself. There's no use crying out for help. There's no one here but you. So do you love yourself? Or are you caught in self-abuse? Have you embodied divinity, sharing infinite wealth, or spent existence within a material shell? Let it all go. Energy is meant to flow. It's like holding your breath and forgetting you were rowing in a boat. It's but a dream. Did it confuse you? Couldn't you see that the stream in which we float is generated mentally? Life was supposed to be a breeze, but you got down on your knees, victimized by your obedience, took pride in your lobotomy, blinded by authorities to abandon morality, convinced this criminal to not conform with her mentality. Then they had us take drugs without saying what they're made from. Parents passed on their shame from their childhood abductions, since they too couldn't escape from the pharma stage contagions. We were manipulated through cyclical enslavement. The hospitals we came from birthed us as future patients. We gave up all our freedoms, our health, and our well-being. We aged and we became the new agents of the system, fueling our self-destruction on a collective grave run. This is all a hologram. Ouroboros in every atom is beyond what we imagine. Detach and watch it happen within infinite dimensions. Witness depth of self-reflection. Constant flux of transience feeds unconditional connection. All apparent complexity arose from a single entity. The same substance intoxicates or is rendered a remedy, depending on perception of the being that is entering. The placebo is real. We heal ourselves with mental energies. Remembering, or have we severed from the divine? Can we reference measurements outside conventions contrived? Are we content paying the rent while dying 9 to 5? Are we truly free, or have we been deprived of living life? Express without seeking approval. Honesty so raw it's brutal. Cup half empty, minus two full. Limitlessly all is dual. Vocabulary viewed as cruel by those who know that is truthful. Ego crawling through the low pool must create or work consumed. So far gone my address rule. Meditate below full moon glow. Educated by mushrooms, so everything I do is useful. What you putting in your food hole, man, that's fucking ramen noodle. Gonna trip harder than Pumbaa trying to qualify for sumo. Hakuna Matata, happy funeral. Return to earth till you learn to grow. Peace out hopping in the UFO. Taking off back home to Pluto.